Elections can be a bit confusing. Here in the Philippines, we have to choose our leaders via votes on ballots to be counted nationally. The most voted candidate will win the election. But what if we have the power to manipulate the election in order to force someone to win?
It is 2022 and there are 5 candidates running for presidency. Coco Martin, Vice Ganda, Manny Pacquiao, Kong TV, and Derek Ramsey. This year, a new system is introduced. A foolproof way of finding the best candidate was implemented. There will be 4 consecutive elections to find the best candidate.
First, Candidate 1 will run against Candidate 2. Next, the winner of that will run against Candidate 3. Then that winner will run against Candidate 4. And finally, the winner of that election will run against the final candidate. By the transitive property, the winner of this last election must be the best candidate.
Candidate Kong TB has been feeling pretty low, as he knows he is ranked near bottom by most voters and at the top by none. In fact, he knows the Philippines is divided into 5 equal groups and that their preferences are as follows.
In the first group, Vice Ganda is the top preference. Next is Coco Martin, followed by Pacquiao, Kong TV, and Derek Ramsey. In the second group, Vice Ganda is still the top preference and seconded by Coco Martin. They are followed by Kong TV, Derek Ramsey, and lastly Pacquiao. In this next group, Derek Ramsey is the most preferred, followed by Pacquiao, Vice Ganda, Coco Martin, and lastly Kong TV. In the fourth group, Coco Martin is the most favored one. Next is Derek Ramsey, Pacquiao, Vice Ganda, and lastly again, Kong TV. In the last group, Coco Martin is still the most preferred. Next is Pacquiao and Vice Ganda, followed by Kong TV, and lastly, Derek Ramsey.
Since Kong TV is very close with Chairman Sheriff Abbas, the COMELEC chairman, he was told that he can choose the voting order of the candidates. So what order should Kong TV choose in order for him to win?
Remarkably, although Kong TV is, at best, ranked 3rd out of 5, he can still be the overall winner in a series of consecutive 1-to-1 elections if he picks the correct order. This is because the transitive property doesn't necessarily hold for majority preferences. That is, if the population prefers candidate A to candidate B and candidate B to candidate C, it's not necessarily the case that they prefer candidate A to candidate C.
This phenomenon, called the Condorcet paradox, was first famously discussed by the Marquis de Condorcet, a French mathematician and philosopher in the late 1700s. In addition to his mathematical works, he also published radical works denouncing slavery and promoting gender equality, and was ultimately imprisoned due to his political beliefs.
Okay, let's go back to Kong TV. He needs to choose the order of candidates in the following diagram. He wants to be the final winner, and so begins by working backward. He first looks to see how he would do against every other candidate. To look at this, he needs to view the relative ranking of each Kong TV voter versus the candidate in question. For instance, against Vice Ganda, the preference are these. And, oh no! Kong TV would get 0 votes in a contest against Vice Ganda. Similarly, he would lose against Coco Martin with 0 votes and Pacquiao with only 1 out of 5 votes. But, wait! Against Derek Ramsey, he would win with 3 out of 5 votes.
So Kong TV knows he can only win 1 election, which means he needs to put himself as candidate 5 to have any hope of winning the whole thing. Furthermore, he needs to go against Derek Ramsey, which means Derek Ramsey needs to be the winner of the previous election. Pacquiao beats Vice Ganda, but loses to Coco Martin. Thus, Pacquiao must be candidate 3. and Vice Ganda must be the winner of the first election. Finally, we can see this is possible because Vice Ganda does indeed beat Coco Martin in a 1-to-1 election. The final order, which leads to Kong TV winning, is
So that concludes our election. Welcome, President Payaman Kong TV.
Nasa labas ang mga wild dogs, me and my compadres. Buhay parang GTA, iba't iba na address. Di pwedeng magtagal sa iisang place. Bago simulan mission, anong ginagawa, Blaze? Tunay ang kasama, di kailangan actor. Mautak sa aking money, hindi laman ng pagcore. Lay low, pero di mapigil ang ingay. Down as Pinay, ang trabaho niya maghihip.